What's up, guys? It's Nutsack MMA and we're back with a new video. We're going to be looking at the top 10, not top 10, top 15 grapplers in the UFC. So let's get into it. Coming in at number 15, we got Almeida. He has great wrestling and jiu-jitsu, took down Blades multiple times, and he's ran through most of his opponents, a lot of them at heavyweight. The only problem is that he only really runs through blob fat opponents, and he stinks it up against higher level opponents, and he is a heavyweight, which is honestly just the least skilled division in the UFC. I'm confident that the guy next to in front of him will be able to out-grapple him if that time ever comes. Coming in number next, we got Aspen. But in my opinion, he's the best wrestling and jiu-jitsu in his division. He has dominant grappling wins over Volkov and Arlovsky, which are better than wins over Romanov and Rosenstrike, in my opinion. Volkov is pretty skilled. He has 100% takedown submission accuracy, which is pretty good as well. He doesn't use grappling in fights that much, though, and he is a heavyweight again, so like I said, least skilled division. But anyways, moving on to the next person. Coming in at 13, we got Petr Yan. Now, Petr Yan's super underrated when it comes to his grappling. He has elite wrestling, ground and pound, and takedown defense. Took down and ground and pound TKO'd Jose Aldo, which is super impressive. Jose Aldo has one of the best takedown defense percentages in UFC history. He outgrappled Aljo. Okay, just to put into comparison, Merab, I believe, shot 17 takedowns on Jose Aldo and didn't land a single one, which is insane to me. But anyways, he outgrappled Aljo in the first fight, didn't get outgrappled in the second fight though. He outgrappled Song Yadong with a groin injury, which is impressive, and he was able to outgrapple Sean O'Malley. He was able to take him down as well, while Aljo couldn't. The only problem is that he has been outgrappled by Aljo in the second fight. He was severely outgrappled by Merab, and he's known more as a striker, and he's not really in his prime anymore. He's kind of fell off, but I still think he's really elite, and that's why he's on this list. Moving on to the next person, we come in at number 12, we got Khama Usman. He has elite wrestling and takedown defense, and he's beaten many great grapplers throughout the years, and he's been a dominant wrestler for years. And another impressive thing is that he survived the first round against Chimaev on short notice, which is good because Chimaev is one of the best first round fighters. The only problem is that he has no submission game, and he's out of his prime severely. He did well against Chimaev, but that was in the striking after Chimaev already gassed out. So I don't know how impressive that really is. I hope Khama Usman can bounce back though. I hope he moves up to middleweight and gets some free wins. But yeah, for right now I have him at number 12. Coming in at number 11, we got Gilbert Burns. Now, Gilbert Burns isn't the best offensive grappler, but the reason I have him on the list is because his defensive grappling is some of the best I've ever seen. Elite jiu-jitsu, and he's a defensive grappling wizard. He's neutralized the grappling of Demian Maia, Khama Usman, and Khamzat Chimaev, which is all crazy. Demian Maia got his back, and Gilbert just stood up like it was nothing, and he's outgrappled a lot of elite opponents offensively. But offensively, he's not really a dangerous grappler. He's not that good when it comes to submissions or ground and pound. He did submit Neil Magny, but that's not a great opponent, so that's why I only have him at 11. But his defensive grappling more than makes up for it. So we're going to move on to the next person. Coming in at number 10, we got Brenan Allen. He has great wrestling, ground and pound, and submission game. He can do it all on the ground, and he outgrappled and subbed Paul Craig and Andre Muniz, who are both great grapplers. Took Paul Craig down, beat the fuck out of him, and Paul Craig is known for being good in the guard. And Andre Muniz was pretty good as well. And he was able to take down Chris Curtis, who has pretty good... He was able to take down Chris Curtis, who has pretty good takedown defense. Only problem is that the fight was pretty close, and Chris Curtis did outstrike him. Arguably a robbery. I don't think it was, but you could argue that it was. He struggled against Chris Curtis, and if he wants to get up, he needs better wins. But he is one of the most dangerous grapplers in the division right now. I'd put him as the most dangerous grappler in the division, next to maybe Khamzat Chimaev and Anthony Hernandez. I think that dude too is really underrated. Anthony Hernandez will be up here, in my opinion, soon, but he just needs better wins. I think Paul Craig and Andre Muniz is better than whatever wins that Anthony Hernandez has right now. So anyways, moving on. Coming in at number 9, we got Pantoja. Really don't like this dude, but can't deny he is a decent grappler. He has good wrestling and jiu-jitsu. He outgrappled Brandon Moreno twice, 3 times if you count the Ultimate Fighter. He fought Brandon Moreno, beat him twice. First time he subbed him, second time he laid on him, took a nap. Steve Erceg, yeah, he did outgrapple Steve Erceg, even though that fight was pretty close. Steve Erceg was winning on the feet, but Pantoja was winning on the ground, and he subbed Alex Perez, which is cool. he does have really good control on the ground. The only problem is that when he takes people to the ground, he does tend to lay on them, and his finishability is not that good. So that's why I only have him at number 9. But going on to the next person, coming number 8, we got Brian Ortega. This dude has elite jiu-jitsu. His only losses are to Max Holloway, who outstruck the shit out of him, Volk, who you can't submit, and then Yair, but he got injured in the Yair fight. I believe he dislocated his shoulder. But besides that, he has an amazing submission game. He almost submitted Volk multiple times, but Volk just doesn't have a neck, so you just can't submit him. But the fact that he got Volk in submission attempts was insane, and Islam Makhachev couldn't. What does that have to say about Volk? Anyways, no, what does that have to say about Ortega? Anyways, yeah, most recently he subbed Yair after a 2-year layoff and getting 10-8'd in round 1 and rolling his ankle, which is crazy. Yair is has terrible fight IQ for that, but yeah, man, it is what it is. But Brian Ortega is super elite grappler. Only problem is that while he did get Volk in submission attempts, he did get beat up by Volk on the ground, and his wrestling isn't that great. He's good when it goes to the ground, but he's not good at getting the fight to the ground, if you know what I mean. Anyway, moving on to the next person, coming in number 7, we got none of them, Volkanovski. He has great wrestling and ground and pound. Gave Islam the hardest grappling fight of his life, harder than Charles Oliveira, and harder than Charles Oliveira, which is crazy. And he's a featherweight, and he's way shorter than him. That just goes to show how good his defensive grappling is and his offensive grappling. He did beat up Ortega on the ground. Ortega would get him in like a submission attempt for like 10 seconds, and then the next 20 seconds, Volk would be hitting him with ground and pound, just beating the shit out of him. 50-45 to Ortega. He ground and pound TKO'd Yair, and he just doesn't have a neck. He cannot be submitted. Only problem is that he does use his striking more, and he did get caught in multiple submission attempts by Ortega, which is, when you're getting caught in submission attempts, like, yeah, you can't be submitted, but you can't be getting caught in submission attempts. But he does use his striking more, so that's why I don't have him. Everyone else from now until number 1 is gonna be an elite grappler who mostly uses grappling. So yeah. But coming in number 6, we got Aljamain Sterling. I really don't like Aljamain Sterling. I think he's super boring, but like, you gotta respect him for his grappling. He does have elite control and jiu-jitsu, great wrestling, great takedowns. He out-grappled Henry Cejudo, which is really good. Henry Cejudo is an Olympic wrestler. Out-grappled Peter Yan in the second fight, and he subbed Corey Sandhagen, and he easily out-grappled Calvin Kattar after moving up a weight class, which is also pretty impressive. Now, I do have something to say about his finishing ability. I think it's non-existent. His finishing ability, he doesn't need to gain one. He's winning fights, I understand, but like, he's just super control based, I guess. Like, how can you not finish Calvin Kattar? You didn't even try. You didn't even try ground and pounding him. You didn't even try submitting him. Basically just held him down. And Calvin Kattar was coming off an injury, and he's not the best opponent. He's a boxer who was coming off a 1 or 2 year layoff because of an injury. So yeah, Aljo just really lacks that finishing ability. He did sub Sandhagen, but that was way back in the day, so I'm putting that on there. But yeah, moving on to the next person. Coming in at number 5, we got Jon Jones. Now, Jon Jones is a little bit out of his prime, but he does have elite wrestling, elite ground and pound, and submissions. Out-wrestled DC, ground and pound TKO'd Gustafsson, subbed Gon in 1 round most recently, which is crazy. Francis Ngannou took down Gon and neck breed. Jon Jones took down Gon and subbed him in 1. So that just goes to show the skill difference between light heavyweight and heavyweight. And in my opinion, he out-grapples most people in light heavyweight or heavyweight currently. Keep in mind I said most people, not all people. But anyways, yeah, the only flaws is that he is out of his prime. He is coming off an injury and he's fat. And his takedown accuracy has never really been that good, in my opinion. Failed to take down many of his opponents. Dominic Reyes most memorably. Lost the first 3 rounds. It was robbery, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyways, but yeah, Jon Jones still elite, and he still grapples most people in those divisions, so I got him at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we got Khamzat Chimaev. Now, I know Khamzat Chimaev did pull out of his fight against Robert Whittaker recently because he was sick, but he is an amazing grappler. We can't take that away. Extremely aggressive wrestler, elite ground and pound and submission games. Has ran through multiple fighters on the ground: Kevin Holland, Li Jingliang, everyone who he fought before, Li Jingliang as well, he ran through. He wasn't able to do much to Gilbert Burns on the ground, but nobody's able to do much to Gilbert Burns on the ground. That says a lot. And he was able to take down Kamaru Usman and maul him in round 1. And Kamaru Usman has never gotten taken down by anybody, I don't think. And Khamzat was able to take him down on his first attempt and maul him throughout the entire round, ground and pounding him, got his back. Super impressive. And I know he gassed out. I'm confident that he can take down anyone in his division, including Rob Whittaker. I'm not sure if he would win that fight, but I think he could definitely take down Rob. And what else was impressive is after he gassed out in the Usman fight, he was able to take down Usman while he was gassed, which is also super impressive. And Usman has great cardio, which says a lot. But yeah, that's his only problem is his cardio, and it's a super big problem. And you can honestly go ahead and throw his health in there too. His health is holding him back so hard. He has no immune system, and honestly I think he's gonna have to retire early. But yeah, his cardio is terrible, but it's probably not his fault. It's probably because of the COVID that he had a couple years ago, and it's sad that we'll probably never get to see his full potential. But I'll stop him at number 4 because I do think he outgrapples anyone in his division currently. That is until he gasses out because his cardio is dog shit. But yeah, so I think Khamzat's extremely talented. Cardio isn't something that you can control. He can, yeah, but anyways, moving on to number 3. We got Arman Suan. He has elite wrestling, ground and pound, cannot be submitted. We saw that in the Oliveira fight. Oliveira had him in the tightest guillotine I've ever seen, somehow got out of it, and he had him in a darce at the end of the fight. Somehow survived that as well. He out-wrestled and beat up Oliveira on the ground, which is super impressive. Not even Islam could do that. And Islam, Charles' grappling neutralized Islam's grappling, and it ended up just being a striking fight. Now, what's super impressive about Arman is that Arman was actually able to take down Oliveira and beat him up on the ground. And he's grappling, improving. I believe he's only like 27, 28. The only thing is that he does need to do more to be higher. His win against Oliveira is impressive. Besides Oliveira, his next best win is Dariush, who he knocked out. He didn't really out-grapple him, I'd say. So, I mean, obviously he didn't out-grapple him because he knocked him out on the feet. But yeah, but he is rapidly improving in my opinion. I think he'll be higher than Oliveira next time. I just kind of spoiled his next, but yeah. So, and he also lost to Gamrot. Close fight, but he did lose technically. So yeah. But yeah, spoiler who's next. Number 2, we got Charles Oliveira. Most submissions in UFC history, says a lot. Ran through and subbed Gaethje, subbed Poirier, easily beat Dariush. And the crazy thing about Charles is how good he is off of his back. Charles is honestly better off his back than he is like on top of people. He can beat the fuck out of people from his guard or sub them. He's so dangerous from the guard. Whenever you drop Oliveira, you cannot go down with him because you do not want to get stuck in his guard. Unless you're Islam Makhachev, and Islam Makhachev just doesn't give a fuck and he'll sub you. But yeah, he almost subbed Arman twice, which is impressive. Arman's just tough as fuck, dude. I don't know how he did it. His only problem is that he does get neutralized by wrestlers. That got proved in the Islam fight, and that got proved in the Arman fight. But yeah, so I still have him under here because he's has the most submission, super dangerous, and he beat most people. I think he beat Gamrot in my opinion, and he still beats most people in his division via the grappling. So yeah. But anyways, coming in number 1, we got Islam Makhachev, elite wrestling and submission game, out-grappled Volk, which is super impressive. That's never been done before. Sub Charles. I don't think it's ever been done before at lightweight. Subbed like Prime Charles on the 12-fight win streak. Like, that's super impressive. Yeah, people have beat Charles before the win streak, but yeah, out-grappled and subbed Poirier with staph infection, might I add. And he ran through Drew Dober, Bobby Green, and Dan Hooker in like a minute, all on the ground. And he's Russian. Trains with Habib. And those guys are all just great wrestlers automatically. And honestly, I couldn't think of any flaws for Islam. He's his only flawless grappler. So, yeah, that is my list. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I'll see you back for more. Peace.